I'm here with Robert Jones, author of the book Chess Wars, The Adventures of Randa, Earthchild. Now, why don't you tell everybody a little bit about yourself and your book and the story you're telling here?
Yeah, well, my name is Rob Jones. I was born in Kingston, Jamaica, November 2nd, 1968. Yes, I'm 42. My daughter was born in Brampton, Ontario, 1991, May 22nd. The book originally was a book just for my daughter. I was living out of town and I was working, and every couple of weeks I used to send her child support. And one day she told me, you know what, if I'm just going to send a money order, why don't I write to her as well? And I knew that she always loved stories ever since she was a little baby girl. I used to tell her stories usually before she was going to bed, or sometimes we'd just be walking home from the mall or going through the woods or something, and then we'd start making up adventures, and before you know it, we're going through a jungle somewhere in Africa, and we're jumping over a creek, and it's a big river full of crocodiles and whatnot and so forth. So I figured, rather than write her a letter every 2 weeks, I would just write a story about her, and that's pretty much how the book began. I was living with a friend. I used to just, every day I came home from work, I had some paper, I made sure I had a pen, I had a drink over here and whatnot and so forth, everything within reach, the remote control for my television, and I would just sit down and I would just start writing every evening. I did it for probably just a couple of months, and as it kept going, I had a friend of mine named Mike who I let him read the book one day. He's a good artist, and I told him, listen, why don't you read some of this book, and maybe you could draw some of the characters for me. And he started reading the book, and as he was reading it, he was turning the pages, and he kept looking at me, and he would read it, and then he'd look at me, and he said, "You wrote this?" And I said, "Yeah," and he used a foul word and told me pretty much that he didn't believe me. So I go, "Yes, I did," and after convincing him that I did write it, he said, "Wow, man," he goes, "You know what, you should type this up and send it away to somebody somewhere, because you never know, it could be the next one." So that's how so far I've gotten here.
Excellent. So you've got the books in print now. It's available. Your website is chesswars.ca, correct?
That's right.
Now there's a lot of elements to this book of classic fantasy and folktale type mythology. And were you influenced by a lot of classic fantasy in your youth?
Yeah, most of my reading experiences it's been fantasy, fiction fantasy. Started off with like Terry Brooks and David Eddings and whatnot and so forth. And way back in the day, even long before the movies and whatnot were made, I was always reading X-Men, Spider-Man, Thor. I love Thor. And I was an avid comic book reader. I still am. I see a lot of good books and a lot of artists and so forth out there, and I'll never grow up. You know what I mean? I mean, like, if I'm reading comic books, if you have to grow up to be able to read comic books, if you have to be a kid to be able to read comic books, then I don't want no part of it. I'll stay a kid then.
All right. Now, you got some very interesting characters in the book. There are you've got elves in the book, and the elves are interesting. They've got kind of a blend of magic and science going for them. You're kind of playing around with that theme. That kind of fantasy, science fiction type thing really influenced you?
Yeah, I mean, like, I know about a lot, like, there's all kinds of stuff in the news and books and so forth about, bio this and bio that and so forth. So I have, like, some bio-magical stuff that's in further books. My next book actually involves some bio-magical warfare, and also helpful stuff too, that a blend between magic and science, a blend between magic and biology. So normal everyday life influenced that.
And you've also got an interesting example in the book of kind of elf racism, like not just elves against humans, but remarking on the color of their skin and everything.
It's not just a skin color thing with the elves and whatnot and so forth. It's because they're such long-lived. They live so long. They're practically mortal. Well, not practically, but they're very good. They're a good race of people. Like they're very accomplished, and they just think of themselves as better than dwarfs, humans, and everybody else. They just think that they're the elite, and so they're pretty much prejudiced against everybody.
Right. Now, so this is the first in the series, and you're planning on coming out with the rest. You're in the middle of working on the next book in the series.
Actually, the next book is already done. It's just in rough copy right now. It's just a matter of printing it out and saving it, typing it out and whatnot, and so forth. Because I never type my books to begin with. I write because I figure, well, I'm a writer. I like the word, so I always write my rough copies with pen, pencil, whatever I have handy. I like to just go out and sit at a park or sit at home, like I said, with the remote and everything within reach of me. So when I sit down, I just just go on.
So you've got the tactile feel of the pen and paper.
Exactly. And there's something about writing too. It flows. Like it comes straight from my brain to my hand, and sometimes it's like my hand is working on its own volition. Like I'm not even actually telling it to do anything. It's just going off all on its own. Every now and then I do get like a writer's block, but that's just usually more from fatigue than anything. Maybe just from sitting in one place too long. So I'll just get up, go outside, look up at the stars or catch a breath or go for a walk to the store and come back. And usually when I sit back down, it's like, boom, I'm gone again.
All right. Now, the book is Chess Wars, and you created a game to go along with it. Now, there's only like a small bit that correlates to that at the end of this book. You'll be going into that in more detail in the next book?
Yeah, definitely. The game is actually based on 4 characters in the book. There are 4 kings. They're they're demigods who play a game of chess with the lives of people that live on different worlds and so forth. So you'll hear more about them in later on for sure. Because it is directly based on 4 characters in the book, and the game also is played in the book on a larger scale with actual people and horses and whatnot and so forth. It's an annual thing that takes place between these 4 kings. Every year they get together, and it's a matter of honor with them, which one of them are the best at it.
All right, and so you've actually created a game here, the Chess Wars board game. With the 4 different colored playing pieces.
Armies.
So these are the armies in the book, and you got some interesting gameplay details of takeoff of regular chess.
Yeah, I like to call it the evolution of chess. It's chess on steroids, I call it. Like I haven't taken anything away from the original game. All the structure and the integrity of the original chess is still in there. I just added a few more rules. I put 4 chessboards together to make it more interesting. You'll love it. Anybody who plays chess will like this game, I guarantee it. There's no age target age for it. It's from 8 to 80.
Excellent. And so you've got the game available on your chesswars.ca page.
Yep, and www.chesswars.ca.
And the next installment of the Adventure of Randa Earthchild will be coming out. Look for it in stores soon.
That's a surprise. I know that you're all sweating waiting for it. Hopefully it won't be too long. Let's say I'm targeting, let's say 2012.
2012?
Yeah.
Well, we'll certainly be looking for it out there. Thank you for sitting down with me, Robert Jones.
Thank you.
And wish you all the best of luck in your Chess Wars book and game.
All right, thanks, man.